Hmm. Wow. Um, on a beautiful day, on a beautiful time. Good evening, everyone. Always great to be back here. It's been quite a while. A real while. Um, Let me see. All right. That's
who is one of the foremost politicians in Nigerian history.
Tinubu and his
has helped
people
in strengthening
created a
democracy.
militia. Who said those words, Daniel?
Tinubu has helped in strengthening democracy in
Tinubu
Nigeria.
and his people created a militia, Daniel. Who said those
Tinubu
words?
brought in leadership
I'll ask a third
skills
time.
into governance.
Tinubu and his people created a militia. Who said those words?
Tinubu and his people never created the militias. That's
So
the
why
answer.
did you say they did on January 22nd, 2023?
I never said that.
The candidate of All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his people created a militia. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria we are seeing a political party creating a militant arm leading to election.
Does he have a militia that tried to kill you?
He doesn't have. I never said he tried to kill me.
I myself have received threats from him and his camp. Your words.
I never said that.
There is also this threat to life, and I can tell you that because I myself have received threats from Asiwaju and his camp.
You said it was so corrupt, the 2023 election, Tinubu's win. You said that you couldn't eat food for 3 days.
I never said that. Where?
And legitimate complaints were raised all over Nigeria. That part is what threw me off balance. In fact, I became so sick. For the past 3 days, I found it very hard eating food.
Tinubu is not just super rich. It's what he does with his wealth. In 2019, 2 armored money trucks, bullion vans, were seen going into his house, coming out of his house. Where did that money go?
No. Point. Did you see the money? Or those who reported, did they see money inside the bullion van?
Was there no money in the bullion vans?
How am I to know?
You said it was money in the vans at the time.
I never said
2023, February.
But there is only one person in Nigeria who is alleged to have moved money through bullion vans, and that person is on their ballot as the presidential candidate.
On the eve of the presidential elections, 2 cash-laden bullion vans, your words, were seen on the premises, which was ostensibly for vote buying. Your words, January 2022, 2023. Have you just disowned everything you've said in order to work for this president?
I'm coming. What you just said now, I want to put it on record, on my own honor. That's not what I said.
Oh. Well, guys, you are welcome. Um, it's been a while. I've been live. Okay, I stopped making videos for the past almost 2 years or so. I think over 2 years. I stopped doing this stuff. But I just have to think again. It's our country, and we all need to do something, man. Everybody need to do something. Everybody. We should not just leave it for some few people to do it. Because I stopped, because that was why I was talking about Nigeria politics, so many things. But I came to realize you have to just do something. You cannot just keep quiet because when you think those people, they are so corrupt that you cannot do anything. No, one or two things must be done. So I would say once in a while, I'll be coming out to do some videos. This is the country we live in, man. Nigeria is our country. We could be in diaspora, could be anywhere you are. One thing you should know, Nigeria is our country. And that is it. We cannot run from it. We cannot run from it. All right. So not giving up. We must build our country, Nigeria. All right. If we allow people like this, Daniel Boya, to be to represent us. It's a shame. It's a shame. I would say, we have characters like this are so many. Him and Redon Omokri, they are all the same in the same boat. Because the politics or the elections, or rather, is around the corner. It's next year. So you have to wake up. We all have to wake up and do something. That is just the truth. We cannot just allow these things to be happening and we just put our hands. It's just not right. You get it? So as I said to myself, man, I have I need anyhow it is. We all need to come out and make something happen. Make something happen. Okay? Make something happen. So once in a while, I will be coming out because last time I was talking really, man. But after the elections of Peter Obi and Tinubu, after the court wahala, I stopped. I tried to just was not doing some videos to motivate people, inspire people, don't give up. Okay, but I think it's high time we all come back to do some things, man. I'm not a politician, all right, but we all be affected. If you say I'm a politician, then the politicians are doing that nonsense and getting away with it. So we should all come out and start speaking. Enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. We should not be quiet. We should not just allow these people that don't care about you to continue to dictate what happens in our country. Okay? So that's the reason I said, okay, from now on, I will be talking. It doesn't matter at least, at least I know that I will affect some people. That is how it is. At least I will air my view. Who knows? And who knows? So I will tell people that these influencers, they are all quiet right now, man. I know money is in hands. So things are happening in Nigeria, but we should all wake up. Okay, we should all wake up, and we cannot allow things to happen. We cannot just allow this to be happening every time now. It's enough is enough, man. It's time for us to take our country back. Where the wise keep quiet, the fools will rule. Do you understand? The fools will rule. And the decisions they make will all affect. It will affect you. Definitely affect you. So we should be wise and we should all wake up. We should be wise and we should all wake up. Okay. I'll play the full video of this guy. Okay. I'll play his full video of how he messed up himself, man. Rufai was dealing with them in Arise TV. For him, he said that was not enough. He wants to go international. And made the death with him, seriously, man. It was a shame. It was a big shame. And this is what position, I don't even position myself. I think the publicity, I don't know, to the president. It's a shame. It's a shame. That boy, I know you and Venom Mukwamukwu are the same thing, man. You guys, you talk different sides of the mouth. And this is somebody's husband, somebody's father, somebody's uncle. The president of Nigeria flew himself like that. Oh man, it's a pity. Anyway, like I said, I'll be coming up once in a while to see for some things, okay? I will, I will. There's no need for us to be quiet. There's just no need for us to be quiet. That is the truth. Enough is enough. Okay. Anyway, let me look for the video. Let me play it. Let me look for the video now. The full video, but I think it's about 40 minutes. I don't know. I don't think I can play all, but anyhow it is. Let me see. Um, where is the video? Just a moment, guys. Let me see. Where did I put the video now? Mm, 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 mm. Wow. So sharing first. Okay. I'm looking for the video. Just 1 moment. No, it's somewhere. Mhm. Okay. I think I have to put it back again because I don't know. Let me look for it. Anyway, guys, you heard me. We should all be talking. We should be talking. We shouldn't be quiet. We should not be quiet. We should not be quiet. That is the truth. Where is this thing? Okay. I can't find it again. Right. Wow, 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 wow. This is serious. Guys, just 1 minute, okay? I'm looking for the video to play. I know I have it somewhere. Okay. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. All right. Just okay. So as I said, we should all be talking. We should not be quiet. Okay, we should not be quiet. Look, personally for me, I'm not in any party. APC, ADD, ADC, CDC, PRP. I'm not. I'm obedient. Okay, I will say it. I will say it again. I am obedient. All right. So one thing I know. Whipped up, we go. I go. Okay, but look, this ADC of a thing. The position are there. I don't trust them. Wrote in me. What's that name? Edufai self. I don't like that guy too. You know, the former VP, he's a senator at Boca. I don't want to deal with them personally. I don't trust them as politicians. It's just Peter Obi. Where you go, I look then to know what to do. Do you understand? That is my own. But one thing is that if we end up say it's an enemy to anybody, bye bye. None of them. Bye bye. Was who? Among those people there. Zero to me, Amechi, or who? Or who? So personally, I will not. I will not. I will not. So if it's one of if it happens, let's say he assumes say don't get the VAT, or say it take to be a don't limit to anybody. Bye bye. I leave them alone. That is my own. Everybody is free to everybody is free. But for me, that's my own. I will not I will not accept personally. I will not accept that. That is my own anyway. Okay, let's listen to him. Let's listen to him. Video is not what you see the foolishness of this boy.
Sovereign, independent nation, a powerhouse in Africa. So why did you just let Donald Trump and the United States bomb your country on Christmas Day?
The United States government did not bomb our country. The decision by the US government was anchored on the intelligence sharing between Nigeria and the United States and the agreement on the operation.
So Donald Trump just didn't bomb Nigeria at his own whim?
No. The US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, called our own foreign affairs minister when the decision was made that that was the time to strike, and the foreign affairs minister got in touch with the president.
So this was a joint operation, you're saying?
Yes, it was a joint operation. On the
What
Nigerian...
I don't understand is, how can it be a joint operation?
Yeah.
When Donald Trump says that there is a genocide going on against Christians carried out by Muslims with your government turning a blind eye. You've called that narrative a hoax. You said it creates discord in Nigeria.
Right.
So when Donald Trump says he's bombing Nigeria to protect Christians from a genocide, is he lying?
We both disagree as to whether the so-called genocide in Nigeria was against Christians.
We believe that it is a targeted killing by insurgents, Boko Haram bandits, and all of these criminal elements against the people of Nigeria, Christians, Muslims, and those who have not identified with any religion. Donald Trump believed it is Christians. We now felt, rather than arguing about whether it is against Christians or not, there is one area we both agree, that we have a joint interest in the fight against terrorism.
But you're fine with the fact that his motivation is something you disagree with. You think it's a hoax.
Yes, because...
So when Donald Trump says there is a genocide against Christians in Nigeria, is he telling the truth?
It is a half-truth, in the sense that, yes, Christians have been affected, but the whole truth is that both Christians, Muslims, and those who have not identified. I said the narrative of Christian genocide was a hoax.
Pushing it.
That's his opinion. Everybody's entitled to it.
Is he right or wrong?
We believe there is a targeted killing of all Nigerians. Evidence has shown. And that is where we are focused on fighting terrorism.
So let's talk about the terrorism.
Right.
Trump claimed he targeted, quote, ISIS terrorist scum.
Right.
And every camp got decimated. But a lot of investigative reporting on the ground shows that few, if any, combatants were killed. Some bombs landed in empty fields. A local leader in one of the districts said, the same militants we knew are still there, loitering around our communities.
No, there were killings of terrorists.
That's not what local leaders are
saying. So I can call local television that testified. Arise News did, Channels Television did.
Okay.
So there was the killing of
you're not on the
terrorists in
ground
that
with
place.
respect.
No, I didn't.
Al-Haji Bunu, who's a traditional ruler in the district, says, we saw no dead bodies, even where the bombs fell. Those are his words.
No, because the bomb didn't fall in the town. It was at the camp, that enclave, where they gathered.
Are you okay with having the Americans bomb Nigerian people's homes?
I'm not aware of that one.
You're not aware of Moroniki Saka, who said, I began to scream for help. I had to crawl my way out of the room. The missile tore through her apartment building, according to the Washington Post. How about Musa Soliu? I was in my room. I was buried under the ruins. I don't know how to restart my life. My belongings are destroyed.
Houses were not destroyed.
Are you telling us that Nigerian citizens are lying about being bombed by the US?
I am saying that the military operation that was conducted on that day was targeted as terrorists, and we hit them.
You have a history of not hitting terrorists and hitting civilians. You know that, right? Your country.
I'm not aware.
Oh, well, on December 21st, the Nigerian Air Force said that they handed over compensation to people who were hit in an accidental airstrike on Christmas Day 2024. Do you just bomb every Christmas?
When and when?
Christmas Day 2024 and Christmas Day 2025.
I dispute that fact.
We'll take it up with the Nigerian Air Force. Let me ask you this. Since President Tinubu came to office in 2023, the situation has worsened in your country. You have a mixture of militant groups, you have bandits, you have clashes between herders and farmers.
We also have
Nigeria is now
incursion of foreign interest in Nigeria.
I'm sure. Nigeria is now the 5th deadliest country in the world. Are you proud of that record?
I acknowledge the fact that we have insecurity in Nigeria, and until the hoax narrative of the Christian genocide, then we began to see back-to-back attack in Nigeria. We had, for the first 2 years of the president's administration, a substantial peace in Nigeria.
Actually, the number of deaths went up on the president's watch.
After this incident of a Christian genocide. And by the way,
when did that begin?
There is no country of the world today that is free from insecurity.
No,
there are parts of London you can't go in the evening.
Okay, but we're not bombing London to root out militant training camps.
But you have had so many of the bombing on behalf of the United Kingdom by the United States.
Since you're making rather spurious comparisons.
No, the context
11,000 people were killed in conflict in Nigeria in 2025. That is up from 8,700 in 2023. That is a 26% increase in the number of Nigerians killed since your party and your president came to office. That's a pretty awful record.
It's awful. And we're fighting hard day and night. But that's one of the reasons why the president traveled to Turkey, where we had bilateral agreement to deal with insecurity. That's why we're cooperating with the United States of America. That's why we're cooperating with any country of the world. The reason is because since 9/11, terrorism is a global phenomenon.
Agreed.
And so every country is involved in it.
But it's getting worse in Nigeria. That's the problem.
I can't say it is getting worse.
You just agreed with me when I gave you the numbers.
No, I said
8,700 killed in 2023,
right.
11,000 killed in 2025. That's getting worse.
How many people were killed in the United States last year?
In conflict-related violence, probably.
So this is not a conflict. This is an act of terrorism.
Okay. So how many people were killed in the United States in terrorism?
Excuse me, sir.
It wasn't 11,000.
This is part of what Donald Trump many years ago in his first term classified the Western media as fake news. The reason is because context matter.
This is not Western media.
You are well aware.
This is not Western media.
Yes, I understand. But
this is the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data. ACLED, the most respected group that counts conflict-related violence around the world.
Let me ask you, where there is a terrorist
I could also give you another source.
Conflict?
I mean, National Human Rights Commission. This is a Nigerian group. 2,266 people were killed by bandits or insurgents in the first half of 2025. That's more than were killed in all of 2024. You are failing. Amnesty International says you are failing at security. The numbers don't lie.
It's unfortunate, and as a government,
and it's getting worse.
We're working day and night
and it's
to
getting
deal with
worse.
That situation. I don't agree to the fact that it's getting worse.
How can it not get worse if more people die in 1 year than the previous year?
Context matters.
What's the context?
The context is not
Yeah,
getting worse.
man, this guy was in a hot seat. You're
The
not
context
prepared.
is not getting worse.
The context is that it is not getting worse because you see, this is a water, right?
Okay.
If you have the water half, you could say half glass filled or half empty.
Yeah.
Isn't it right?
Yeah.
So the Western media always see Nigeria, Africa, and some of the activities in Africa as half empty. Excuse me. But we see it as half full because when we look at it, and when I say context matter, before the president took the oath of office, we knew the situation in Nigeria.
And you made it worse.
When he made the decision to take bold step to put Nigeria in better trajectory, we were well aware of the fact that it was going to incense lots of people.
Okay.
We are also
You've
aware.
made your point. I get the glass half full. I get the context. I also understand basic mathematics. Let me ask you this. President Tinubu only declared a national emergency in November of 2025, brought in a raft of policy changes. After Trump declared your country to be a country of particular concern for failing to deal with the threat of Christians, does your government only spring into action when it is internationally shamed into doing so?
Unfortunately for you, 6 months before that, we arrested the leaders of La Kurawa and Boko Haram. Some months before that, we killed a certain number of terrorists that the U.S. government, State Department, commended Nigeria. The U.S. Embassy celebrated the fact of the exploit of Nigeria before Donald Trump said that.
But again, he shamed you, and you declared a national emergency. You didn't do it before he shamed you.
We declared the national emergency 6 months before Donald Trump's statement.
No, that's not true.
The president
it was in November of 2025.
No. Much earlier, around, I think, April or May, the president declared national emergency on insecurity.
But the actual national emergency was in November.
How can it be
let's
actual?
talk about, people can look this up. Let's talk about kidnappings. The world remembers Chibok in 2014, when 276 schoolgirls were taken by the militant group Boko Haram. Very little has changed, unfortunately, in Nigeria. Just last November, 250 students and staff were kidnapped from St. Mary's Catholic School in Niger State. 2 years into Tinubu's presidency, Nigerian research firm SBM Intelligence said, and I quote, Nigeria's kidnap for ransom crisis has consolidated into a structured, profit-seeking industry. That's embarrassing for your country that you have a kidnapping industry.
I agree with the fact that the insecurity associated with kidnapping has now become a crisis economy. But much more than that, I know of our government's effort in dealing with that insecurity. If you have a little understanding of the nature and the boundary and the geographical measurement of Nigeria and the tendency for insecurity to come in, then you will understand that we're fighting a hydra-headed insecurity situation. With respect to the kidnapping of children, the government has taken measures already. We've introduced what we call Save the School, where students and schools that are in remote places where there is no security are brought back into state capital where they get the education that they need.
But Nigerian people don't believe you. 2 out of 3 Nigerians say that
Where did
security...
you get that information?
Africa Barometer. May of 2024, 2 out of 3 Nigerians say security agencies are handling the abduction of Nigerians fairly badly or very badly. 1 in 3 Nigerians say they personally know someone who's been kidnapped.
Yeah, you have
These are stunning statistics. Amnesty, Human Rights Watch have lined up to say that you have allowed impunity to flourish, you have failed to apply lessons from previous attacks, damning indictments of your security service.
I put it to you, that's not what they said.
That's not what Amnesty said?
Yes. Amnesty...
I've literally got the quote right here.
Quote it.
The authorities' failure has allowed impunity to flourish and the killings to spread to many parts of the country.
Source.
Amnesty International, February 8th, 2026.
Well, I'm not aware of that one.
You're not aware of that one?
I am
aware.
I'm aware.
At the weekend, you put out a video to music of you and a team researching and prepping for this show. And yet every time I've asked you something, you say, I'm not aware of that. What were you researching in that video?
You're really funny. Let me tell you this.
I'll ask you a serious question. Amnesty International, you asked me for a source, I read out the source. You asked me for a date, I read out the date. What's your response other than picking up glasses of water?
No, Amnesty has a history of calling everything bad.
Okay.
I think
that's what every authoritarian government in the world has said.
What is Amnesty's report about U.S.?
Bad.
Not just bad. You didn't use the word bad. You read.
Yeah,
what
very bad. Governments who do bad things, they all criticize human rights groups.
No.
Yeah, they do. I do this for a living. Let's ask about corruption before we go to our panel who are waiting patiently here. Transparency International, they say systemic corruption continues to plague the defense sector, causes a major hindrance to security. President Tinubu said in August, there is no more corruption in Nigeria. That's a ridiculous thing to say, is it not?
We investigate any case of corruption, not just in the defense, but anywhere in government. This administration has had lots of people who are in government, either sacked or investigated and being prosecuted. The resolve of our administration in dealing with corruption is obvious.
Why did he say there's no more corruption?
You probably read him out of context.
No, I didn't.
No, read exactly what he said. You're cherry picking. How can someone just stand and say there is no corruption in Nigeria?
It is getting clearer to the people. We have more money to the economy and no more corruption. Full stop, close quote.
Good. So this is the context. He was communicating to the people about the exploit we're having as a result of the decision to remove fuel subsidy. We dealt with the question of corruption in the oil industry.
And that's not what he said, but okay, he didn't say anything about the oil industry.
That's why I say context matters.
Well, you can't just make up the context. He didn't say anything about the oil industry. He said we have more money to the economy and no more corruption. In fact, he was criticized in Nigeria for this. Last question on this. How can Nigerians take Tinubu seriously on eliminating corruption when he appoints someone like Abubakar Bagudu as Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, a man who, according to the US Justice Department, with others, embezzled, misappropriated, defrauded and extorted billions with a B from the government of Nigeria under the dictator Sani Abacha. Bagudu avoided criminal charges. He cut a deal with the Nigerian government, returned some of the money. But the president literally put Nigeria's budget in the hands of a man who's accused of looting billions of dollars.
You started your introduction by saying this is a sovereign country. The decision of the court in the United States does not bind the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
But he gave $163 million. And that man is now in charge of the Nigerian budget. You're okay with that?
Hey.
I think
Do you think it's funny? I mean,
No,
two-thirds of Nigerians...
You think it's funny.
No, I don't. I think people who are giving $163 million back shouldn't be in charge of the country's budget.
Thank you for your observation.
Okay, but do you think they should be in charge of the budget?
There's no evidence that that minister has misappropriated funds in the government of Nigeria.
Why did he give back $163 million?
To Nigeria or to the U.S.
To
government?
Nigeria.
Why did the U.S. government give him $100 million?
It's settlements. That's what you do in settlements.
Okay.
Why was he settling?
Yeah, so
okay. So you're comfortable with a guy who is accused by the U.S. Justice Department of embezzling with the Sani Abacha regime billions of dollars being in charge of the budget?
Are you okay with a president of one of the countries in the world who was convicted by the courts in that land and the person is still governing the country?
Who are you referring
to? No, I'm just asking.
But which country?
Okay, are you also okay? Are you also okay?
Because if it's Donald Trump, I'm a well-known Trump supporter.
Are you also okay with the Prime Minister of a country who was accused of making a wrong judgment in an appointment that led to a lot of problem, but he has not resigned, he's still governing? Are you okay with that?
Well, by the time this show airs, he may have resigned. So your argument
now
that
Keir Starmer
and Donald Trump, basically everyone else is corrupt. Okay. Let's go to our panel on that. I'm joined by Aisha Osori, a lawyer and writer with the Open Society Foundations. Aisha, how would you rank this government's record when it comes to
I will just move this on a little bit forward.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 1. And I think one thing that I haven't heard in the conversation so far is that since President Tinubu came into office, we have no diplomatic presence in any of the major capitals. And the reason why this is tied to insecurity, for example, let's use our borders with Chad, Niger, Cameroon. When you have no diplomatic presence in those areas, then you're not able to engage on the insecurity. We talked about kidnapping a few minutes ago. There must be a link between the atrocious amounts of money that are being raised by kidnappers. Over $1 billion in 2024, according to the national... From ransoms. That must be what's fueling the insecurity. So there's a link between the kidnapping industry and the rising insecurity. So killing a bunch of terrorists while constantly there's a wave of terrorists coming in through the borders from Chad, from Niger. Again, another thing that's been alleged is that President Tinubu's bad handling of the coup in Niger.
Obvious answer is no, all right? And before I get to that, I want to talk to what Daniel said. I always find it very interesting with Nigerian government officials who cherry pick statistics.
We were very clear with the Nigerian people when the decision was made. It will bring discomfort temporarily.
I move it a little bit, guys.
The long term is what we are promising. We decided to also involve intervention mechanism in dealing with some of the hardship that the people undergo. Now, when that decision was made in May 2023, it was hellish. But as I speak to you today, the numbers, the indices and the stats are favorable to the economic reform that we have introduced. Our foreign reserve has increased substantially. Our net import dependency went down. Our export production capacity has gone up. Our naira is strengthened. We have provided opportunities for families who could not afford to send their kids to school to access grant and go and have their education. Cost of fee, tuition fee, as well as the cost of living.
You mentioned school. 20,000 schools in Nigeria have been shut in the last few months because of these kidnapping attacks.
Correct.
18 million Nigerian school children are not going to school, according to the UN. That is the highest number anywhere in the world.
Because
You're proud of that?
No, I'm not proud of that because of insecurity. But the measures we're taking now, we're restoring them back to their schools. And some of them whose schools are located in places where there are no governed spaces, we're bringing them back into towns. So when you give out your stats or your opinion about an issue, also incorporate this fact so that the viewer will look at, yes, there is an obvious fact that because of the policy decision that it brought kind of untold hardship, but also we are making progress in this regard.
So I agree with you. That's a fair point. We should look at things in the round, and you pointed out things you've done well. But then you need to do the same thing. Do you accept then that the poverty numbers are going in the wrong direction?
Yeah, sure. It's like
that's the crucial one for a lot of Nigerians.
No, but numbers don't lie.
141 million people in 2026 are going to be living in poverty in Nigeria.
Then I explain,
62% of the population.
Then I explain to you why. Context matters.
I agree context matters. It's a failure. What you did produced 62% in poverty.
So the IMF, the World Bank, and the Brentwood, they have uploaded the reform decision we took. Now, tell me one country of the world that will introduce that kind of reform, and there won't be consequential effect in terms of action. Even in the United Kingdom, as we speak, there is a cost of living crisis. Are you aware?
No, I'm not aware of that. Okay. Let me bring Anu back in from the FT. Is that a fair point that Daniel makes, that the IMF, the World Bank are praising what we're doing, and actions have consequences?
Yeah, look, I think ultimately those reforms had to happen, right? There was chronic mismanagement at the central bank.
Let me move on forward.
The government before the Tinubu government was an APC government, so it's the same party. So there's.
And we're talking about the same institutions that made. And we're talking
about Nigeria insofar as the situation is bad. When we praise the idea of a Western institution that before now said something against Nigeria, but now is saying Nigeria is trying, then that is not necessary.
Well, I think Amnesty International is a human rights group, and the IMF is a neoliberal institution.
And they're all Western institutions.
All right, well, we're all cherry-picking, apparently. Let's go to the break. In part 2 of Head to Head, we will talk about President Tinubu, his wealth, his leadership style, and what it means for democracy with Daniel Bwala. Don't go away. Appropriation of funds belonging to the government of Lagos State, abuse of official office, conflict of interest.
I'm glad you said the petition against it.
Yeah,
document that was taken to court.
That you highlighted.
I wasn't the one that went to court. And at that time, where was I?
You were an opposition member.
Thank you.
So should we not trust you when you say things as opposition?
What is the job of opposition?
To oppose?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you know it.
For the sake of opposing?
No, that's what you're adding.
I mean, you didn't just say that.
No, go to Westminster on Wednesday by 9 o'clock.
Okay.
You'll understand the job of the opposition.
You can do whataboutism all day, that's fine. You also said that, well, you know what doesn't happen in Westminster in the US Congress?
I know what does happen.
Well, I'm telling you what doesn't happen. Politicians don't accuse other politicians of setting up a militia.
They also accuse the governing party
you said at the time,
on mistake in judgment in appointing someone that eventually turned out to be somebody in the FCC.
Yeah, if you think that this is comparable to Starmer and Mandelson, good luck to you if that's your defense tonight. You said at the time that Tinubu started a militia to sway the election corruptly and that they even threatened you. So how can we take anything seriously you say tonight in his defense?
Your opinion, Nigerians.
So my opinion is your opinion. Sorry, Daniel, it's your opinion.
That was litigated in Nigeria to conclusion, and then as a country we moved on. We are more interested about the deliverables that we have for the Nigerian people, and we look for opportunities.
Nigerians are very concerned about corruption, and Tinubu, you said this, Tinubu and his people created a militia. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria we've seen a political party creating a militant arm leading to election. Your words, January 2023.
Context is everything.
There is no context.
I'm coming. You are quoting the things I said when I was in the opposition.
And I understand that's uncomfortable for you, but you did say them. If you want to disown them, that's fine.
For you to ask anything I've ever said.
So does he have a militia that tried to kill you?
He doesn't have. I never said he tried to kill me.
I myself have received threats from him and his camp. Your words.
I never said that.
You didn't say that at a press conference on January 22nd, 2023. You're just denying.
I never said that.
Who said it then? A lookalike?
No, I don't know what you meant by that. I know I complained at the time
you said
about the conduct of election
It is not my fault that I am able to recall your words in a way you can't.
But it will be your fault
Tinubu,
when you read it out of context. Yeah.
If we go home late tonight, context.
Yes.
Tinubu and his people created a militia. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria we've seen a political party creating a militant arm and leading to election. He advised his people should grab by all means necessary the process leading to elections, that they created this militia shortly after that. We have seen violence in Nigeria, and I myself have received threats from him and his camp.
Tinubu never created a militia. Tinubu is one of the foremost politicians in Nigerian history.
Tinubu and his people created
democracy.
a militia. Who said those words, Daniel?
Tinubu has helped in strengthening democracy in Nigeria.
Tinubu and his people created a militia, Daniel. Who said those words?
Tinubu brought in leadership
skills
into governance.
Tinubu and his people created a militia. Who said those words?
Tinubu and his people never created the militias.
So why did you say they did on January 22nd, 2023?
I never said that.
Let's keep going, since you're denying words that came out of your mouth. Let's quote some other folks. The Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project named President Tinubu a finalist for the 2024 Corrupt Person of the Year award. According to a 2025 poll, 2 out of 3 Nigerians think the president and his team are involved in corruption.
That's a statement from drunken people. Next question.
2 out of 3 Nigerians are drunk.
No, start with the first one. What would you say the first time?
The first one was the OCCR reporting project.
They are the drunken people.
Okay, what about the Nigerians? Are they sober? Are 2 out of 3 Nigerians sober when they say your president and you were involved in corruption?
Nigerians are entitled to hold and express opinion.
Yes,
it is in our constitution. The fact that you express an opinion does not substantiate that opinion.
I agree, but that's their opinion. You accept that 2 out of 3 Nigerians think that your government is corrupt.
I would be happy if you can tell me a finding of court that says Tinubu is corrupt.
Well, what's interesting you should say that, because a lot of Nigerians have reason to suspect that his wealth was built on illicit activity.
A lot of English people have complained about the Prime Minister.
You can
a
talk
lot
about
of Americans have
all night long,
there is
but it
no
has no
country
relevance.
of the world where the people aren't complaining about their leaders.
All right.
That's how
I love it when you
is
set
fashioned.
these challenges. Can you find me a country in the world where the sitting president, the US government seized $500,000 from one of their Chicago bank accounts after investigators found probable cause that the funds were proceeds of drug trafficking, specifically heroin. Tinubu gave up the money in a settlement. He was never indicted of a crime. But when a US judge last year ordered the release of all of the documents by the FBI, Tinubu went to court to prevent it. What does he have to hide?
The minute a matter is taken to court by right, you have the right to send your lawyer. The fact that you send a lawyer to defend your matter or to go against a motion that is filed before the court is not a conclusive proof of acceptance of the fact
he's obviously got something
that was
to hide.
taken to the court.
He gave up $500,000, which were probably the proceeds of drug trafficking.
I'm glad you used the word probably, but it is not. Go ahead.
You said in 2022 that this drug case, quote, conclusively concluded not in favor of Bola because he had to forfeit that money. There is still a cloud around drug-related activity.
Cloud,
yeah,
not a conclusion.
Okay, so the cloud's still there for a lot of Nigerians.
No, the cloud is no longer there.
How did it disappear?
Because the Nigerian people have moved on with the president.
Who said they moved on?
The facts are there.
Less than 10% of Nigerian voters voted for him.
So
that he doesn't have some big mandate from the people that means that I can't ask you, why did he give back $500,000 to the US government, which were believed to be the proceeds of drug trafficking, and you believed they were the proceeds of drug trafficking?
Why do you conduct a polling with 500 people and give a representation of the population?
You're now questioning all polls. Is that your defense?
No, I just said the point. You heard me well.
Well, you don't trust the Nigerian people.
I trust the Nigerian people.
This idea of drugs and narcotics is a terrible case all over the world. And if someone has that questionable character and is elected as president, what it means is that it will embolden people who are into those activities. That is why this person has to come out clean. You said those words.
If somebody has that, thank God he doesn't have.
How do we know he didn't come out clean? You said he has to come out clean in 2022.
Okay, let me put it this way. This fact was litigated.
No, it wasn't.
This fact was litigated in the Nigerian court, and the apex court of the land, the Supreme Court of Nigeria, whose decision is not appealable to any court outside Nigeria, held that this case has not been established against him.
Your words were that there's still a cloud around them because it was not conclusively concluded
My word
in favor
and the judgment of the Supreme Court, which one is relevant? In the Constitution of Nigeria, all the decision of the Supreme Court bind all authorities and people throughout the Federation. That's what matters.
The fact that he had laundered drug money, most likely in his US bank account, is not an issue for you now. It was an issue for you a few years ago. It's suddenly not an issue when you go to work for the man. How convenient.
The court has held the allegation that was put up in the petition against him could not be substantiated.
Well, the US hasn't held that. And in fact, the US court tried to release all the files, and the president rushed to stop them from doing that. Innocent people, is that what they do?
What stopped them from releasing it?
Is innocent
what
people?
stopped them from releasing it?
It's ongoing in the courts.
I'm glad you said ongoing.
But
so let's wait until when it's...
Do innocent people try and stop files from being released about themselves?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm sure the Nigerian people
privacy. I'm coming. If a case is taken to court against you, even when you know you are not liable, will you be comfortable that the order of court will permit the release of privacy issue relating to you?
Yeah, if people think I have drug money in my bank and I don't, then yes, I would do everything I can to.
Unfortunately, people do not.
Tinubu is not just super rich. It's what he does with his wealth. In 2019, 2 armored money trucks, bullion vans, were seen going into his house, coming out of his house. Where did that money go?
No. Point, did you see the money? Or those who reported, did they see money inside the bullion van?
Was there no money in the bullion vans?
How am I to know?
You said it was money in the vans at the time.
I never
2023, February. You
how
said,
how could I have known there was money
it's
in
a tragedy that I know your words better than you do. There is only one person in Nigeria who is alleged to have moved money through bullion vans, and that person is the presidential candidate. You said that on February 17th on Channels Television 2023.
Thank you for notifying me.
So where did the money go from the bullion vans?
There was no money inside.
So why did you say there was?
I said there was no money inside.
But you said, at the time you said he's the only person to have moved money in bullion vans.
When did I say that? What was the event in Nigeria?
Oh, so you were lying because it was an election campaign?
No, I never said I'm lying. I said, how can you prove that just because a bullion van goes into a person's house and comes out that there is money inside?
Maybe because people said it was vote buying by Tinubu. Tinubu himself said, I gave money to the people. You know he said that?
Yes, I also give money to people.
When you give money
myself.
to people, people would say that's vote buying. Politicians, rich politicians give people
money. No, he doesn't
money.
give money to people on election day, but he helps people.
But people at the time said it was vote buying. Do you agree with that?
Who are the people?
You said,
no, I never
ostensibly,
said that.
I can't believe you still keep walking into this. You said it was done ostensibly for vote buying. Do you agree with Daniel Boala or not? Please don't lift up a glass of water. On the eve of the presidential elections, 2 cash-laden bullion vans, your words, were seen on the premises, which was ostensibly for vote buying. Your words, January 22nd, 2023. Have you just disowned everything you've said in order to work for this president?
I'm coming. What you just said now, I want to put it on record, on my own honor. That's not what I said.
So far you've denied 2 things.
This one I said, that's not what I said.
Before you said it too. Well, let's just keep count.
Let me tell you what you do. You will have an idea of a phrase or a word in a sentence. They coin the other part of it to project what you want to push out.
I read the entire sentence to you.
No, but that's wrong.
No. Let's read it again. Wrong. On the eve of the presidential elections at Lagos, 2 cash-laden bullion vans, your words, were seen on his premises located on 26 Borderland Street, which was ostensibly for vote buying. Your words. You can just say I don't agree with what I said, then I was lying for political
I don't
purposes.
agree with what you said, yeah?
No, with what you said. In fact, in 2023, you said that he bought his election. Did he buy his election?
At the time, I thought. But when it was litigated in court, the court found out he didn't.
So you thought he was vote buying, and now you don't. You thought he bought his election, now you don't. In fact, you said it was so corrupt, the 2023 election, Tinubu's win, you said that you couldn't eat food for 3 days.
I never said that. Where?
Arise News, March 2nd, 2023. I became so sick for the past 3 days, I found it very hard eating food.
I'm sure you have a mistaken identity. I never said that.
You never said that you
became
sick.
Why will I not eat? Win, lose, or draw? You eat your food and go to bed.
I'm going to spend a lot of time enjoying social media after this show is done and aired.
Yeah, well.
Let's turn to our panel, who are waiting patiently once again. I'm joined by Anu Adeoye, a journalist for the Financial Times who covered Nigeria. Anu, we've talked a lot about President Tinubu and the allegations of corruption, including from Daniel Boala, which he's now pretending he didn't make. Allegedly, okay. You recently described him as a wily political tactician. How does he wield power? Daniel and others have accused him of vote buying in the past. How does he wield power in your view?
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to understand the context of Nigerian politics, right? And this isn't specifically about Daniel, because he used to be in the opposition, now he works for the president in the APC.
Well, he used to be in the APC, then he was in the opposition, now he's back in the APC, and he doesn't remember anything he said when he was in the opposition.
And I think the crucial context here is Nigerian politics is ideology-free.
Yes.
Right? There's no left or right, as it were. It's mostly, unfortunately, about, people call it stomach infrastructure in Nigeria, and self-interest. And ultimately, if you're someone like the president who, for all his many faults, I think is someone who sees Nigerian politicians for what they are. They are self-interested people. And if you can tap into that, it's very, very easy to get people to come on side. You know, I have a question for Daniel, right? It's like, what made you from saying all of those things that you now disavow? What was the grand vision that made you decide, I want to work for this guy?
First of all, I left him after the primaries because he made a choice of a Muslim ticket. And I thought at the time that that would be injurious to the interests of the Christian minorities. I made that decision. And I campaigned against him. And after the election, for the next 1 year, I was critiquing policies of the president. But I saw from January right up to December how this president patiently introduced policies and continued to engage Nigerians across all platforms in a bid to push Nigeria forward. I became impressive about it, and I made a choice to do that. Just in the same way that Mehdi Hassan has worked with BBC, I worked with Sky News, then with MSNBC, and then back to Seteo. Evolution of people's life.
The worst analogy
Evolution of
I've
people's
ever
life.
heard in 14 years of doing head-to-head. What are you talking about? Somebody changing their job from one company to another is not the same as you saying he's a corrupt man who created a militia, bought an election, and now I work for him, and I only said that stuff because it was the opposition.
All of the things you said, you couldn't substantiate.
I substantiated all of it.
No, you have not.
Let's go to Aisha Osori from the Open Society Foundations. Aisha, in 2023, on the eve of the presidential elections, you wrote an article calling Nigeria a competitive authoritarian state that barely qualifies as a democracy. What do you mean by that, and what role has President Tinubu played in making that better or worse?
Well, he's done nothing to make it better. Definitely, our democracy is a lot worse off in 2026 than it was in 2023.
How so?
Well, for one thing, we had a stronger opposition in 2015 when the APC came in, but thanks to President Buhari and now President Tinubu, we have 30 out of 36 states are now APC, which is not necessarily a good thing because that means we have no opposition. PDP, the People's Democratic Party, has been virtually destroyed. The Labour Party has been destroyed. We literally have no political parties anymore. Another thing that we don't have is any separation of powers between the legislature and the judiciary.
Tunde Doherty is here, the UK chairman of the All Progressives Congress Party, the president's party. Aisha says that your party is turning Nigeria basically into a one-party state.
I disagree with her. I want people to know something about President. He did not have a Tinubu.
They don't know where he was born?
I don't know.
Still? Okay. Let's go to our patient audience here in London's Conway Hall. Let's go to the lady here in the front row first.
In 2023...
Let's go to the gentleman there with the hat. Yep. 91%.
What is the source?
The Afrobarometer survey from last summer.
I question the authenticity of that report.
Do you still think this government is a nepotistic government?
No, it is not.
You said it was in the past.
And I'm now saying it is not.
Okay. Let's go back to the audience. Yes, woman in the third row there, yes?
I was delighted to hear...
And say, we decided that you have to play by the book. And they were not comfortable, they left. You don't have control over their decision. But in the same vein, shortly after that, you see lots of foreign companies that are coming to Nigeria to invest.
Okay, let's go back to the audience. Let's go to, yes, gentleman there with the jumper there, yes.
The current chair.
Do you personally decide when to change your position and how...
On a Muslim ticket next year?
Whatever he decides, I will trust his judgment because after he made the decision, we do not see as evidence the maltreatment or disenfranchisement of the Christian minority.
Okay. Let's take a last question. Gentleman in the second row, you've been waiting a while.
I wanted to ask about vigilantes, because if we look at rural communities across the country, often they are the main security providers. So how exactly is your administration working with them to enhance community protection in rural communities while minimizing abuses of power?
The president has encouraged the governors to continue to participate with law enforcement in their state for training, for intelligence gathering, and in some limited cases for them to form a community vanguard. Most of these states where you see these skirmishes or problem in the past, those ones have stopped. What we are now seeing as insecurity is insurgency, terrorism, and Boko Haram. And once it is a terrorist activity in any country, just like in NATO, they say attack on one is attack on all. When it becomes terrorism, then it is the responsibility of the entire nations of the world to fight that and not to be doing blame fixing.
Last question from me, Daniel. I know you don't trust any polls, but most Nigerians, I think, would agree. The ones that are in your favor, of course. But most polls show that Nigerians are very unhappy with politics, with the government, with the establishment. They're very unhappy about corruption. President Tinubu campaigned under the slogan, "It's my turn," which many critics would say is symbolic of the Nigerian establishment, that people just hand out jobs between themselves. You said in 2022 that Tinubu made the presidency about himself when, quote, it's not about the people. Can we end the show in agreement that what's happening in Nigeria right now is not about the people?
After he won the election, he made it clear by his conduct, action, and executive act that it is about the interests of the Nigerian people.
But he ran on, it's my turn. Should really
He
run
actually
that?
did not run. It was a statement he made before the primaries. Your facts are not correct.
You criticized him for it, Daniel.
Yes, and I changed my mind. Do you change your mind in life?
I do change my mind. Remember, I moved from the BBC to Sky to
Thank you.
MSNBC.
Thank you.
On that note of agreement, we will have to leave the...
Well, well. This is interesting. As I said before, I will be coming around once in a while, But as I said, we have to. It's our country. We need to fix it up, man. Okay, it's our country. I want to fix it up. So for over 2 years now, I have not done anything like this. But the year is running out. Next year is election. I'll be coming out to say one few things. Okay, I mean, if ADC President Peter Obi, good, all way I'm good. I will do my part to promote him. But if it happens, it didn't feature him, man, bye-bye. As they want to do and they do. Okay. And again, if Obi decide to run, be as running mate to anybody, bye-bye. Because the ADC who are there, Rotimi, Erufai, and Atiku back at home. Personally, I wash my hand off. But if they present Obi, trust me, I will do my part as PA. Push. So, guys, let's watch. Let's keep on watching. But those in the diaspora don't keep quiet to start talking seriously, man. Let's start doing things. And again, we should find a way out to see that those in the diaspora can also vote. Seriously. Anyway, I think, guys, for now, I'll be coming up once in a while to talk about politics. Yeah, I have to do it. We all have to do it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please kindly follow our channel and our pages. All right. See you soon, guys. God bless you. God bless Nigeria.